Wait, we're gonna go with the intro. Fuck it.
Yeah, you got to do the makes my life easier. And
This is Sean Payton, head coach of the New Orleans Saints. What's with this Saints Happy podcast? This has to be the worst Saints podcast in the world. Ralph can't say anyone's name right. Andrew doesn't know football. Everyone has a hard time listening to Dave. And is Kevin even there tonight? The audio with this podcast, my God, the audio, it's painful.
all right, everybody, welcome to the special draft night edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. Andrew, the pick is in. The Saints are on the clock. We have discombobulated Thomas because we told him we were going to go live after the pick, but we're going when the Saints are on the clock. This draft day has been completely, utterly stressful for me. There was a moment where I really thought,
Oh my God. I know the pick.
all right. What's the pick?
Peyton Turner, defensive end, Houston.
Let's go! Who is that?
Oh my God! What? Are you kidding me? The guy that we picked in the third round that you guys banged me over the head
I have the graphic for him. I think.
He's 119 on my board. 119.
What? The Saints are still better than Mac Jones. Here's the thing, man. The Saints, they get you. You know, it's like that year when we thought they were like, oh, they got to pick a guard. They got to pick the guard. And they were like, nah, we're not picking a guard. They didn't pick Karamoa. They didn't have a corner. I mean,
we make fun of the Raiders for doing things like this. We make fun of the Raiders.
Can't you hear, Dave?
Dave, they picked Peyton Turner.
We just picked
easy
a
to pronounce.
consensus third rounder, 28th overall.
Wow.
Who's Peyton Turner?
Exactly.
No, who is he? What
No.
position
Exactly.
is that?
That's him.
Really.
This is Peyton Turner.
Oh
Saints
my God.
Twitter.
A defensive end. This is fucking Marcus Davenport on the fucking Oh my God!
But without two firsts.
I mean, his Raz has got to be off the charts. We got to look at his Raz, right? I mean,
His
that's the first
arms
thing
are
we gotta do.
super duper long, like Dr. Reed from Fantastic.
Okay. Positive news here. His Raz is 9.74.
I mean,
He's 6'5", 270. So
270.
he fits the height and weight requirement. He got long arms. His hands are 10.5, huge hands. His vertical is elite. His composite agility scores are both elite. So
Yeah.
he is a testing freak.
yeah.
That's
The
something.
Saints leaned in hard on their prototype this year. But why?
They passed on Owusu Koromoa.
I mean, here's the thing, though, Andrew. Here's the thing. I told y'all that defensive line is a sneaky need. Now, they picked up Marcus too first. They picked up his option for 2022, which makes it a little less dire. But Cam Jordan is not young. He had a bad year. It makes sense. It pushes your UDFA son down the depth chart, which is sad. This pick is going to catch a lot of shit, though, right, Andrew?
I'm
now?
stunned. Yeah, we're recording.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yes.
We see your face. All of our listeners
Oh my
see your
God.
face, Dave. They see your instant reaction. What do you have to say for yourself?
Are you serious? Are we really recording?
Oh yeah.
Oh, this is a disaster. This is a fucking disaster. I cannot believe this is the pick. This is fucking Jesus. And it's like, it's like,
It does.
it's hilarious. It's hilarious that they signed Marcus Davenport to his 5th-year option. I guess that was a sign. I guess they waited all offseason. They waited until today to sign Marcus Davenport to his 5th-year option, and that was the sign to us that says, "Hey, we're gonna pick this random defensive end that's a quote unquote like project who needs some work." Oh my God!
Hey,
What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? We were going to trade up. What the fuck are we going to trade up for?
Tell me we were going to
trade up for this guy. This is it. We were going to trade it in the top 10, and then we were going to grab this guy.
They went from trading up in the top 10 to get a corner or Mac Jones to taking a guy at 28 that they could have got at 60.
What the fuck is going on? What is going on?
We make fun of the Raiders for picks like this. We make. I mean.
Wait, guys!
You know?
I have Dave's instant reaction after the pick. Check this out.
That's the worst joke I've ever heard. My God.
Pretty much.
That's his reaction.
I mean, Andrew, I have to say this. I'm trying to think of the last time the Saints made a first-round pick where it was as much of a head-scratcher as this. This is a pick that usually when the Saints pick a guy, you may argue about spots or whatever. They haven't picked this guy, like overdrafted someone like this in the first round in a long, long time.
Yeah.
Andrew's just,
I'm stunned.
his eyes are just glazed over. He doesn't even know what to say.
Well, I mean, there were so many options there. You could have traded down Elijah Moore if you wanted to give the offense a little juice. Obviously, I can't believe Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah is still there. That's the thing that I'm just trying to resolve in my head is that you've got a guy in Owusu-Koramoah that was there. You could have taken him. It was a shock that he fell that far. And you know, look, you don't make your picks based on who the Falcons pick. So I was not.
But Koramoah didn't he not fit the profile? Like he was too.
He was a little
smaller.
light. Yeah, he was light, and certainly Peyton Turner does. You know, if you're going to base it on prototypes, there's no question that Peyton Turner 100% fits the prototype, 100%. You know, when we have these podcasts and we talk about the Saints look for guys that have this size, this weight, this speed. Peyton Turner is 100% all those things. I mean, I'm looking at his RAS score right now. You know, it's dead ringer. But and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah was not. You know, he did not have the weight to fit. But and again, like I don't pick. I'm not one of those guys that would vote for picking guys based on who the Falcons pick. So I don't think that factors in or should matter. But when they take Kyle Pitts and you've got a guy at 28 that falls to you that twice a year can cover Kyle Pitts and match up with him as a linebacker. To me, that's the guy you take. I mean, that opportunity is. I'm stunned that he was available, and I'm even more stunned the Saints would pass on him.
Thomas put the graphic up that we were going to use to make fun of the Raiders, and we're using it to make fun of the Saints.
I think it fits. It's fitting.
It does. Nice pick, dumbass. I mean, this is the most This to me is the most concerning pick that they've made since Stanley Jean-Baptiste. And when they picked Stanley Jean-Baptiste at the time, I was like, that is a terrible pick. That dude was playing wide receiver till 5 minutes ago. He's done nothing at corner, but he checks all the boxes as measurables. I don't like this. And Peyton Turner I live in Houston. He played for the University of Houston. I don't know who the fuck he is.
He had 10.5 sacks in 5 games last year.
All right.
He was quite productive.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things. I guess it's one of those things where the Saints, they had, it's just it's just their board, and they had the thing is, the one thing that I will say is, at least Andrew, unlike the Raiders or teams that make mistakes, he does check all the boxes physically, and he's not like a try-hard Jared Tomich or Rob Kelly if you're an old Saints head, where his
Marcus Davenport checked all the box physically too.
Yeah, but at least they didn't give up 2 firsts for Turner. I mean, let's not get nuts. You know,
Blows my mind. This pick is out of left field to me. It's wild.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, they must have been the
It's stunning.
When was the last time either of you have been this stunned over a Saints pick?
I don't know. Last year.
Oh, by the way, we forgot to tell the patrons and people in the YouTube live stream, if you are a patron, Thomas will get you into this. Go to the general voice channel and DM Thomas, and then you can join us on the air and vent about this out of left field pick that the Saints just made.
So Peyton Turner is the 14th highest RAS score the Saints have ever taken. All time.
Wow.
He is top 15 all time in Saints RAS score picks. So, he had 10.5 sacks in 5 games last year. Highly productive. He has the height, he has the weight, he has the speed, he has the agility. And if you're just measuring him based on what he looks like combine-wise, measurables, he's a top 15 all-time pick. He's higher than Ricky Williams. He's higher than Jimmy Graham. He's higher than Marcus Davenport. He's higher than Reggie Bush.
When did they start doing this RAS score thing?
I mean, the RAS score's been around
80s, since the 80s.
Well, no. Basically, what happened was
the highest RAS score the Saints have ever picked is Gene Atkins, who had a perfect 10 in 1987.
Ooh. Wow, I didn't realize Gene Atkins had a perfect 10.
And second is Lattimore, 9.99.
Yeah,
you shoot your dick off.
Yeah, there you go.
You shoot your dick off.
So, Thomas, I think we're starting to get some people. I think we're starting to get some people in the general channel.
Yeah, we have one guy.
Want to ask a question? But Andrew, listen, they didn't trade down, but they have.
No, they didn't.
They're gonna do 3 picks tomorrow.
I am hearing some people say like, hey, we could have gotten him at 60. I don't believe that's true. I think, I say that he was 119 on my composite big board, but I think what happens a lot of times with the composite big board is someone's clued into a guy and they put him at like top 40, and then another board will see him and not rate him in the top 300. So that like kills the score. And so, I'm looking at his RAS, like he probably, once you get to the second round, NFL teams are going to, a guy that's had 10.5 sacks in 5 games, a guy that has off the board charting in terms of measurables, they're going to take that guy ahead of, unproductive, questionable athleticism guys. So he would have been gone in the second round. He would have been gone before 60. I feel like that's probably what would have happened, but I feel like this is a reach. I do. What does your dummy say?
What does the dummy say?
You're also muted, Dave, so you might want to fix that for you.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I will be on WWL tomorrow morning, and I said it at the time, still better than Mac Jones. Andrew, tell the people how scared I was about the Saints trading up for Mac Jones. I
think we all were, man.
I was.
I was watching Twitter. I was watching our Discord channel. I don't think anyone was feeling comfortable about that until the second he was picked. In fact, I was texting with people who will remain nameless. If you're in Discord, you know, but there's a lot of people that were like, yeah, please,
What are you
please,
doing?
please don't take him. So,
I mean,
you know, we didn't take a quarterback. We got a pass rusher. And look, the Saints lost Trey Hendrickson this year.
yeah.
So they needed to replace him. Defensive line was a need. You know, they lost Rankins also. He'll be an interesting guy in the rotation.
If he's good, no one will care. But he better be better than Karamoa. Because that's the guy, Andrew, that people are going to compare him to forever. You know?
Not only that, but I think it's like every time I think Saints fans are, you know, I know Saints Twitter, we're a bitter bunch. And if we're giving up a couple touchdowns to Kyle Pitts every week, every time we play the Falcons, people are going to be like, yeah, it would have been nice if we had Wosu Koromoa covering him.
I will say this, though. A UH grad, she is pumped about the pick. She just texted me UH and a bunch of like cat emojis.
You just lost a bunch of money in Vegas, didn't you? Right?
I did. I bet on the Saints picking a quarterback. That was plus 1,100. When the Mac Jones rumors were at their like frothiest or peak, I told my wife to bet on the Saints picking quarterback because I figured at least if the Saints trade up and do something horrible and get Mac Jones, Dave, I was like, well, I can the $1,300 I'll win will make it a little bit better. That didn't work out. I also bet on them taking a corner. That didn't work out. I should have bet defensive end. Defensive end was plus 400. I should have bet it. I didn't, and I paid the price.
I've since we've been doing this podcast, my McDonald's Uber Eats showed up, and so I've had a chance to.
It?
Well, you know, I was hangry earlier when we started the podcast, and now I've calmed down a little bit.
Well, here's the thing, though.
I'm not done. Ralph, excuse me. You're interrupting me.
I thought
he tends to do that.
Yeah, he does. He's kind of known for that. But I'm a little less upset about the pick now that I've calmed down and eaten a little bit. And I only say that because we didn't trade up. Again, like we said earlier, at least we didn't trade up. This wasn't as bad as Marcus Davenport. And it's sad to say, but like, you know, Marcus Davenport has really set the bar so goddamn low for defensive end first-round draft picks now. So he's coming into a good situation. No matter how he does, at least everybody will be like, well, you know, he's not Marcus Davenport, so at least we're all right there.
Here's the thing.
But the other thing is, I forgot what the other thing is. Go ahead, Ralph.
Here's the thing, and
well, I was gonna say real quick. So, you know, for those of you that are like Ojulari, you know, is a pass rusher, but I don't think he was a scheme fit. So I will say this, for those of you that are thinking, well, if they were locked in on a pass rusher, why not pick Greg Rousseau out of Miami? Or why not pick Jason Owe out of Penn State? Or Carlos Basham out of Wake Forest? All guys, you know, they're kind of ranked higher. And I will say, I'm looking at Rousseau, who was productive out of Miami. His composite agility grades are poor. Very poor. His shuttle, his 3-cone are awful. His vertical is awful. You know, so Rousseau had really bad RAS scores. Carlos Basham was okay. Actually, he was good, 9.38.
Oh, he had as many sacks as me.
Yeah, much lower than Peyton Turner. And Owe was actually higher than Peyton Turner. He had 9.92. He was off the charts, but he had no sacks, no production.
Here's the thing with this pick, as it sort of settles in, and we always want to justify the pick and we want to get behind it and all that. But here's the thing, Andrew. The last 5 years, Jeff Ireland has put in this system that the Saints believe in, and it fucking works. Mm-hmm. Their system of drafting works. We're going to draft to the prototype. It works. And they did it here And like, it isn't like they're going against their system. Like, I think we would have been more excited about Asante Samuel because he's a corner and his film is awesome. But like, he's short. He has short arms. Like, he would have gone against all their things that they've done the last 5 years to be good. And I just, it's okay. And like Dave said, they didn't trade up. And besides Mac Jones, Dave, and not having Alabama Chad Henne, besides that, I really felt it was important to keep the 2022 first-round pick because we don't know how Jameis is going to be. We don't know what this team, we don't know what the floor is. So overall, I still give it an A+.
Well, again, as I keep eating and my belly gets a little more full, I get a little more rational, and I'm feeling a little bit more better about the pick. Especially after hearing you talk. No, I mean, look, one thing I will say is I'm proud of the Saints because, like, they have their beliefs, they have their convictions, they have their guys, and like they just go for it. They don't give a shit what anybody's going to say. They know picking this guy, at 28th is a little bit of a quote unquote reach, as they would say in the industry, but they don't give a shit, and they know that's what they're going to hear. But they believe in their guys. So
it seems like you're describing the Raiders right now, though. I just want to point that out.
No, maybe.
But here's the thing. I have conviction. Well, but the Saints, like you've said, the Saints have a little bit of a better track record, I think.
Yes,
and a little bit of a better history.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. So, I'm all about that.
Look, I will say I haven't listened to any of this guy's interviews, and obviously I'm gonna deep dive and have a full report on Peyton Turner once I have a chance to. But what I'm reading here is that Adam Schefter earlier today, and this was posted by Jason Champagne, so kudos to him for posting this on the Discord. But Adam Schefter earlier today, before the draft started, said, in a draft light on defensive linemen, here's a name that could be called tonight. Houston defensive end Peyton Turner could go in the first round due to his character, his length, and his medicals. I haven't heard his interviews. I haven't a chance to really digest like what he's like as a person. But if he's a high character guy, a guy that loves football, a guy that's all in,
length,
guy that interviews really well, I could see the Saints loving his razz, loving his production, and then he meets with them face to face, and they're just like, this guy, he's our guy.
Andrew, get nerdy for me and explain why length is so important for defensive ends. Like, explain it to people that don't watch tape and why teams are like, that guy's got elite length. Like, why does it matter?
Well, especially arm length. I mean, when we're talking about his arms, which are exceptionally long.
That's what she said.
And when you're as strong as he is too, like you need that accompanied by strength. Those two things in combination are great.
That's what she said.
It gives you the ability to kind of, when you're getting
bendy.
jammed by.
You know what? We haven't talked. How bendy is this motherfucker? Is this a fucking bendy motherfucker or what?
I mean, 10.5 sacks. I'm about to watch the tape and see how these sacks came about. We'll see if they're Hendrickson hustle sacks, or if they're bendy sacks.
Well, look, Juge, I expect a full report. I want to know what his bend quotient is, and I don't forget the cover page on the TPS report. Thank you.
Yes, I will.
Thomas, we got people in the general channel. Let's get to some people.
Yeah, they're waiting. I don't know if they're ready. Wait a second. I'm gonna check out with our first caller.
All right.
Oh my gosh, this is scary.
Yeah.
This is scary.
We have a Polish guy running the show here. Jesus Christ.
This is almost as scary as the Saints draft pick.
Okay.
Can we get Scoops in here?
First caller. This is Albion Moonlight.
First time, long time.
Albion Moonlight, say hi.
Hey.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Are you freaking out?
All right.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think about Peyton Turner.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. I like what Dave was saying. We didn't trade up for this dude, and He goes to a school in Texas that I literally knew existed before the Saints drafted him.
As opposed to
Marcus 2 firsts, who I was sitting in the Marcus 2 first draft, sitting with my buddy. He's a Panthers fan. Saints trade up. He's all mad because he's like, God damn it, y'all just got Lamar. We draft a dude from a school neither of us had heard of. He's been laughing at me ever since.
San
This is my
Antonio really
revenge.
didn't have football till 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
The road
University of Houston. It's a real school. He's a real player.
Yeah.
I'm at peace with this. This is good.
I mean, I don't want to be like a Tulane homer here, but like I just feel like if we're gonna take a defensive end from Houston, like this has to open the door. Let's go get Cam Sample. Come on, let's get Cam Sample.
You really do want the Saints to have a horrible season,
dude. Cam Sample is gonna be hungry. He comes from look. As much as I love Tulane, we know they're not. It's not a football powerhouse. So if you're
Dave, did we not sign enough? Did you not get your fill of Saints signing horrible Tulane players that'll never help the team? Did you not get enough? Did you not get your fill this past week?
Ryan Griffin. What Ryan? No, yeah, I know.
JJ. No, I'm talking about the team. JJ McCleskey and the other.
I know Montano, Christian Montano. No, I know. That's why I mentioned it again because it seems like they're on the take. They're on the take.
Enough is enough.
No, Cam Sample. I want Cam Sample.
So Albion Moonlight, what do you want the Saints to do at 60? And then we'll get on with other callers. What do you want the Saints to do at 60?
I don't want to depend on having to get a Richard Sherman or something. Like a cornerback you get in the second is not necessarily going to be a plug-and-play guy, but they need a floor there. They need something so that when they go into post-draft, free agency, they're not desperate for anybody. So I'm saying probably cornerback, or if that's just completely off the board, then best playmaking wide receiver.
Sounds good to me. All right, Thomas, who's next?
What next?
Okay, so we are not ready yet.
What is that? What next soundbite?
It's just Ditko when the Saints. It's just Ditko when the Saints were 1-10 his last year, and he's just sitting in a chair and he's just stewing at the media.
Love it.
So I just like it.
What next?
It's just great.
Okay, we have another caller, a show regular. Budrich, say hello.
Budrich, I know you're a draft nerd like Andrew. Are you freaking out over this Peyton Turner pick? I like it. An easy name, not too many syllables. Cool, I know.
Unmute yourself.
He's like Dave. He's just talking to no one.
Matt's like, I hate my life.
He's like Obi-Wan Kenobi.
He's speechless.
There you go. Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, I got it. All right. Yeah, I was a little nervous about Peyton Turner, but based on the last two picks were pass rushers, I'm starting to grow on it now because Ravens took Courtney Brown 2.0, Jason Owe, and the Bucks took Joe Tryon from Washington. So
didn't the Jaguars just take him? Or no, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. They're on the clock.
Yeah, no, Jaguars. They took Edatine from Clemson.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, at least with Peyton Turner, he's a really good run blocker. He's really worked on that part of his game, and I think with Turner, you probably got a good hybrid defensive lineman who could probably kick inside just primarily because of his size.
Here's my question to Matt and Andrew is I think we would have lost our collective fucking minds if Newsome had been there and they'd have taken Turner instead. And they're, of course, never.
I would have stabbed somebody. I would have fucking stabbed somebody.
I also would have stabbed someone. Yeah.
Do you?
I would have thrown my computer.
And that's why I ask Andrew and Matt. And I know you can't know the Saints boards and you can't possibly. But do you think that they would have taken Newsome over Turner if they had the choice of both.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes.
All right, Matt.
And that's where Ralph, like I kind of the Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, that's who I would have taken, but like I get it. I get that the Saints are all about prototypes. They're all about physical traits. And Owusu-Koramoah is not big enough to be a linebacker for the Saints. Like
he fell out of the first round.
He fell out of the first round, and he's smaller than Quan Alexander. Like he's lighter than him. So
here's the thing.
Like Quan Alexander, when they traded for him, was a surprise because he was smaller than their traits.
Yeah, but the thing is, to me, Andrew, is like the Saints, they may draft to a prototype, but like once you're a Quan Alexander and you have proven that you can play at a high level and you don't have all the traits, like then the traits don't matter, right? Because Quan Alexander, he proved it, right?
Yeah.
So I think the media missed the point of like they were like, well, you traded for Quan Alexander. Does that prove that you're going a different way with size and different things at linebacker? I don't think Quan Alexander proved that and showed that at all. I think they looked at Quan Alexander and they're like, he's an NFL product. He has proven he can play at a high level. We don't care about his height because he did it at San Francisco and he did it in Tampa.
Well, there's a guy actually on our YouTube channel right now that just commented. It's Mocha Chakalaka Khan. I hope I said that right.
Shakalaka.
Yeah, he said Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah should play strong safety in the NFL. And, again, that going back to his size, like that's –
yeah.
I don't know that I necessarily agree because he could gain weight, but where he is right now, that's in question. He's right. And so if that's the thing we're talking about, then maybe that's why he wasn't picked in the first round,
We know that the Saints, just because they didn't trade up from 28 doesn't mean they're not going to do it. So my question to you, Matt, and then we'll get to other callers, is there a guy that you have circled and you're like, that is a guy that the Saints would want to move up from 60 to get, and we should be paying attention tomorrow? The closer he gets to 60, the more and more likely the Saints will move
up. There's probably three guys. One of them is definitely Jabril Cox from LSU. I know they talked to him, and I think he's probably one of those guys. Maybe Asante Samuel, because I think they do want a corner.
You like Tyson Campbell? That's kind of my guy at 60.
Yeah, I think he wouldn't be bad. It's just I think he needs a little more work in comparison to Samuel, because I think Samuel, you could ask him to start right now and he'd do fine. But with Campbell, you might need probably a good few months for him to really work on his craft.
Thing is,
probably the last guy.
Probably the last guy
with circle would be Elijah Moore from Ole Miss, because he fell the first round, and I don't know. I think he's probably a really sneaky guy that I would not mind lining up with Michael Thomas. Yes, those are my top three.
Dave, now that you're not hangry anymore, I have to say, if the Saints would have drafted Mac Jones, I would have demanded you drive to Houston and just make me painkillers, that drink you had on the Big Show last week, and just inject them into my vein.
Yeah, you like that one? That's a good one. That's like it's a little bit of like a pina colada thing. It's got a little coconut in it, a little orange juice, a lot of rum. I could have. They certainly would help. They certainly would help. But I think you might need those injected if they drafted Alabama Chad Henne.
I gotta say, I mean,
in the veins.
Peyton Turner must have absolutely just killed the interview. When they met with him, he must have just been so impressive.
Yeah, Nielsen must have been like, "This guy is awesome. Fuck it, just get this guy."
I mean, it's high, and people will knock it, and the Saints will probably get a C. But he isn't like Rick Leonard, where the Saints pick Rick Leonard in the 4th round, and people were like, I don't have him in my top 250. Basically, we're arguing with Evan Turner. You're arguing over him. You're arguing like the Saints picked him around too high, maybe.
Yeah. Some people had him going as high as probably 2nd round, which, it's fine.
good hand usage, multiple positions.
Wow, that sounds like Juge's mom.
Thanks, Matt, for joining us tonight. I would say call, but they don't really dial in.
Yeah.
So Thomas, let me get the old sound effect here.
I don't know. Could they not have drafted somebody else and then like traded up
from 60?
Yeah, and gotten this guy?
But here's the thing though. If the Saints, Dave, if they have him rated at like 23, they're gonna be like, we don't think he'll be there at 60. So put it this way, Andrew's right. If the Saints were the Raiders, we would kill them. But because the Saints have 4 division titles and 49 wins the last 4 years, we're like, it's okay. After I get over it for 25 minutes, we can live with it. It'll be okay. So Thomas, who we got?
Next caller is the Wicker Man. I hope he's ready. Say hello, Wicker Man.
Wicker Man, what you got? Were you speechless like Juge when the pick came in?
Yeah, I've been kind of speechless the last few years with our picks. I mean, I was not expecting Ruiz last year, but this one, that was more because of a fit thing. This one, he was not. I mean, I've done a lot of mock drafts, I've done a lot of stuff, and I barely heard this guy's name, just because he's typically picked between 28 and 60. But what I will say is, like, the question y'all were that Dave was asking about why not just trade up and get this guy. I think for me, the only reason this pick makes any sense is if there's somebody else that we want to trade up and get in the second round. And so we knew that we couldn't get this guy in the second round because there's somebody else that we want. So my question is, who is that? And y'all already sort of answered it. But I mean, Elijah Moore fell, Koromoa fell. I don't know if we can get up that high, but it should be nice.
Here's my question to you, Dave. If the Saints go through this draft and don't pick a corner, let's say they don't pick a corner until 105, like at 60 and 98, they don't pick a corner. And they don't pick a corner until the third round or the fourth round. Are you going to knock this draft and be really, really worried about the team's win total? Because we've seen when they're a dumpster fire at corner, bad things happen.
I don't know.
Like,
I mean,
I
guess
better pick a corner tomorrow.
I mean, if they pick one anywhere in the third round, I guess I will be okay. I'm not gonna like totally freak out. But I mean, at this point, they didn't pick one in the first round, so I'm a little concerned about cornerback for sure. I am definitely a little concerned about cornerback.
Andrew, do you have like a list of corners where you're like, they better get one of these freaking corners tomorrow or I'm going to be mad?
Well, yeah, kind of all of them. So no, I Tyson Campbell's the one I go back to. Just he has the size, the speed. But there's a number of guys. I mean, corner is pretty deep in this draft. Asante Samuel's still out there. I don't know if you can get him at 60. Aaron Robinson out of Central Florida is a big dude. Kelvin Joseph is a guy that some people think is good. My dad's favorite, and he keeps hoping that you'll have to say his name, is Ifeatu Melifonwu out of Syracuse. So there's a number of cornerbacks I think that they can take in the second round, is my point. And so, but they better take one, because here's the deal. Like, if they don't take one in the second round, it starts to get a little bit more grim after that.
Start praying for Richard Sherman's health at that point.
That's right.
Yeah. No, you nailed it.
Thanks, Wicker Man, for the call. Thomas.
What next?
So next we have Jason Champagne. Jason Champagne, say hi.
Hey, Jason.
Jason.
Jason Champagne.
Jason, yeah, that's right.
Which one?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Some teams had a 4th round grade on Peyton Turner. Saints are just going to get murdered. The Saints will have the lowest draft grade of any team, I think, or maybe maybe not. The
Raiders.
They'll get the Raiders will. But Jason, what do you think of the pick?
So actually, I like the pick. Defensive end is never a bad value. One of the things that
Jason,
mute your stream.
Yeah, will you mute your stream because we can hear?
It's like we're on WWL. We're gonna need
Turn down your radio.
We're gonna need you to turn down your radios.
Oh God, I just became that guy, y'all. I'm sorry. I should freaking know better. So anyway, no, I generally I like the pick. I just put in our Discord that the fact that 2 edge guys went right after Turner kind of validates our pick. I think the Saints were on to the fact that other teams were possibly going to poach their guy.
There's definitely a run there at the end. Yeah.
Here's my question: is how can a guy that has 10.5 sacks and an elite RAS score, why is he graded so low? Like, explain it to me. Like, why is his grade? Like, usually, like a guy you can pinpoint it. You can be like, well, his score's really high, but he only had 4 sacks, or he's hurt, or he's like, why is he great? Like, what makes him a 4th round grade? Why is that?
The only thing I could have thought of was level of competition, but then there was a defensive tackle out of Houston, and I'm blanking on his name. The Bills selected him like top 12.
Ed Oliver
was thank you.
Was the #1 recruit in America.
Yeah, so you can't really say it's level of competition there in the American Conference, but it was definitely a shocker for me that Turner went there. I kind of had him pegged for mid-second round, but the more I hear about the guy, his character, work ethic, things like that, it could turn out to be a pretty good pick. And I think the Saints have their eye on somebody in the second round that they may trade up for at that point. But, it looks like they really had trouble finding a trade partner in the first round. And that could be the reason why they went with Turner there. Just because, they may have had him pegged kind of like we did as a mid-second round guy. But they knew he wouldn't be there if they tried to move up in the second. So they just went ahead and nabbed their guy there.
Yeah. So Jason,
I'm looking at my composite big board, and PFF had him ranked the highest of all the publications at 57. ESPN had him at 59. So there's a couple there that had him. Pro Football Network had him lower, kind of a 3rd round pick. CBS had him as a 3rd round pick. Draft Tech had him way down, outside of the top 300. So Draft Tech. That's just one publication. Maybe they kind of missed.
Yeah.
So the highest was 57.
Yeah, PFF had him ranked the highest at 57, so he would have been gone by 60. But look,
in best case scenario, he would have been gone by 60, and barely he would have been gone
barely.
By 60.
Yeah, no.
Well,
I think you can make a strong case that he would have still been there at 60.
But the Saints do their homework more than any of these publications. I think that's also fair to say.
Sure.
Here's the thing.
And they know what other teams are going to do.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, Jason. Here's the thing also, too, Dave and Andrew. The Saints, Ryan Nielsen, Sean Payton did not let him walk out the door to LSU. And they kept him. And that dude has a track record with the Saints and at North Carolina State of taking dudes that aren't elite recruits at North Carolina and making them NFL players. And he turned Trey Hendrickson into a $60 million player. He turned Onyemata into a player. Marcus Davenport got hurt. So maybe we want to give that a mess. But Shy Tuttle has become a decent rotation guy. Andrew's UDFA son, Carl Granderson. So to me, the Saints have a track record that they take guys and can improve him. And this guy's got elite physical skills. So, I feel better about it now that I've remembered that Ryan Nielsen is part of this equation too.
I'm gonna sum it all up. I mean, yeah, that's great, Ralph. You want to believe that? That's great. You talk yourself into that. Wonderful. Enjoy that ride. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but there are. But there is a total other side to that coin, and it's, you mentioned Marcus Davenport. I don't know why you would bring that up as a argument on your behalf. I think that would be an argument on my behalf as a potentially not really a great draft pick, or Stephon Anthony or whatever. There are examples on both sides, and I think the point is that it's really a crapshoot. And you and Andrew said they had the best hit percentage as far as like draft picks, and that was what, 52, 53%.
That's right.
Okay, that's barely above half and half. I mean, basically what you're saying is at best, drafting NFL players is a 50-50 proposition.
That is true.
And so I just think you want to talk yourself into Turner being a good draft pick, you could do that because 50% of the past evidence says that that's a possibility. But you know what? I could say on the other side, I think Turner is going to be a total fucking bust and a waste at 28. And I have 50% of history on my side.
Well, I mean, everything in the draft is 50-50. But
yes,
I mean,
yes, it is. That's exactly my point.
But at least
that is exactly my point. My point is that this is all a fucking goddamn 50-50 proposition gamble.
At best, yeah.
At best.
But I mean,
at best. It's like the NFL is the house, and all the NFL teams are suckers moseying on up to the table.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing I always say. No, we're never going to remember his composite big board. We're never going to remember what he was rated on PFF or some other publication. We're never going to remember his RAS score. All we're like.
Well, to be fair, you two morons might remember that shit.
We might.
But yes, most people might not remember.
Most people won't.
Right.
And so we always talk, Ralph, about simple. Just take good players, right? And so if he has double-digit sacks, we're never going to care about the fact that he was overdrafted, he was overpicked. Like, just produce, just be a good player, and none of the other stuff matters. Like where you were taken, nobody really thinks about that stuff. It's just, are you good or are you not?
Well, let me ask you this question. When the Saints have taken in the first round, when they have taken somebody who was outside of the box, who was not who you think would,
like Zach Bond,
was a reach. But I'm talking about in the first round specifically.
Okay. Yeah.
When the Saints have kind of reached a little bit,
like Andrews Pete.
Yes. Has it tended to work out, or has it tended to not work out?
Well, I mean, they don't have. This might be the biggest reach they've ever done in the Sean Payton, Mickey Loomis era in the first round.
I agree.
I mean,
honestly, the biggest reach is Akeem Hicks and David Onyemata were huge reaches that come to mind, and obviously those were huge hits. Yeah. Those weren't first round picks either. But yeah, in the first round, who was a huge reach? I mean, Marcus Davenport, they gave up 2 first round picks to get him, but that was right around where people expected him to go. So I don't know that I would accuse it. Maybe they gave up a lot to get him, but I don't know that I would accuse Davenport of being a reach. Pete was maybe a little high, but he wasn't this skewed.
Yeah.
I agree with Vaccaro was picked right where everyone slotted him to be picked.
Yeah.
So this is the biggest reach I can remember. I agree with Ralph.
Stephon Anthony wasn't really a reach though. Like,
yeah,
that was about where they had
he was
him.
kind of assumed to be late first,
early
second. Yeah.
Meacham might have been a reach because I think Meacham, he had knee issues. he might have been a reach too, but
A
not
slight.
this.
But I don't regret drafting Meacham though, so I'm fine with that. I'm okay with Meacham.
Meacham could have just did the Meach around, and he'd be
Yes,
good pick, bro.
absolutely,
Like,
absolutely.
that's all he needed to do is have the Meach around.
And
But
he did
you
more than
know
that.
who was kind of a reach was Ruiz. Ruiz was a slight reach.
There you go.
Yeah. But Ruiz was a slight reach, but they did have teams that afterwards were like, we had a good grade on him. The thing with Turner is you see on PFT and all these other ones, they're like, we had a 4th round grade on him. We had a 3rd round.
Look, the reality is I'm going to watch the tape. We'll listen to the interviews. I'll write up a thing. We're all going to talk ourselves into this. Let's be honest. We're all Saints fans. We want this to work out.
We're trade up.
We're,
Well,
we're invested in this
what more do
working
you
out.
want?
No,
So,
you and Ralph are already talking yourselves into it. And
we're already
kind
kinda-
of talk you out of it. No, I'm trying to.
I said
it as
in the
much as
page.
possible.
But Dave, you were the first one to say I hate this, and then 10 seconds later you're like, I was hangry, I ate, I'm feeling better. But you were the first
Right.
one to kind of come around in 180.
I'm only
You did it much quicker than us.
No, but is it not ridiculous that the only reason I feel better about it is because they didn't trade up and
Fine.
and spend other draft picks just to get this one guy?
Mac Jones, yeah.
Well,
It's
no,
fine.
but I mean, like the whole Davenport thing, like that's what I was saying. Like that's what I was saying earlier. Like the whole Marcus Davenport thing, that set the bar so fucking low as far as like how terrible and how disappointed you can be. And so now it's just like, oh yeah, they just drafted some random guy. Well, it's fine because they didn't fucking waste another 1st round draft pick just to get him. Because they've done that before.
They have, sure. But we're all gonna talk. We're gonna talk ourselves into it. We're gonna convince ourselves that Peyton Turner is gonna be a great player. That he's.
I don't know. I may play devil's advocate just for the shit of it.
Then listen, if Marcus Davenport gets injured again, we might be really glad that we have this guy.
That's right.
Just saying. But so we're all gonna talk ourselves into it. Let's just hope he's actually good. He actually plays well. And let's hope Ryan Nielsen coaches him up a little bit. And you know.
And listen,
I think the biggest thing, as I look at this roster and we talk about the Saints, I say this all the time, Ralph. Like mission critical was get a starter at corner out of this draft, and that just became more difficult. And Newsom didn't fall to him, so I don't know that there was a guy slotted at 29. Eric Stokes got taken right behind the Saints. Maybe they didn't like him as much as the team that ended up taking him, but you didn't leave this 1st round with the starting corner. That's a problem, and that's still a thing for this roster to figure out now. So that's probably the biggest thing I lament.
Here's the thing I do like about the pick, though, is if it works out, it isn't like they went against their process. So the next time they'll be like, well, we picked that dude from Houston, and even though he couldn't run or he was undersized or he had a bad medical, like we're going to pick another guy in the 1st round next year that has a bad medical too or is slow because it worked out once. I like the fact, Andrew, that they leaned into their process. So if Peyton Turner works out like they think, the next year they'll be like, no, stick to our process. Everybody banged on us because they said we picked him too high or whatever. Stick to the process. When we stick to the process, it worked. It worked before. It worked with Peyton Turner. Do it again. I like that. You know, I think it's worked for him. So I'm excited. And like, there's a 99% chance that I will not mess up his name. I love this pick. I love it. So, guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks to Thomas. Thomas has been up all night in Poland. Just
we've got
Esseplin
who's been sitting there patiently.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Esseplin, get in there.
Yeah. No, he doesn't answer. He doesn't. He's AFK, I think.
What? AFK?
AFK, yeah.
What does that mean?
You don't know what AFK means?
No.
Away from keyboard, buddy.
Oh,
where were you? Where were you in 1996 when AOL was a thing, buddy?
Yeah.
AFK, I like that.
But instead, we have one question from Twitter from the regular our listener from Netherlands, Andrew. This one is for you.
Yes.
Read it. on the screen.
Oh, you don't want to read it? Okay.
Nah.
Monadula wants to ask me how I feel about my adopted son being sent to bed without dinner. You misspelled dinner. He spelled diner.
Diner.
Yeah. He went to bed without diner. No, but he's talking about Carl Granderson, obviously my adopted UDFA son, and yeah, it's interesting. I think Granderson was going to be in a position where he was going to be forced to play more, and now I would say there's even a question of does he play at all? It's going to be a pretty significant edge battle. Like, we don't know. Like, defensive tackle is still really thin for the Saints, but on the edge, we've got Davenport and Jordan kind of penciled in as your starters. And now you have your first-round pick, Peyton Turner. You've got Passanio, and you've got Granderson. You've got kind of 3 edge guys and vying for 2 backup spots. And so, to me, Granderson's kind of edge number 5 now. He's on the outside looking in. So this is significant. He's going to have a great camp. He's going to have to show the Saints that he deserves more snaps than Passanio, deserves more snaps than Peyton Turner.
I literally forgot Passanio existed until you just mentioned him.
Yeah, but like edge is kind of tough now, right? Like the Saints are pretty deep there. I mean, Davenport's always injured, so that's the thing. Like he could end up amounting to nothing. But if Davenport is his body's right and he's playing, and we know he's a starter if he's healthy. So, yeah, I actually feel with Peyton Turner, I feel really great about edge. I still don't feel good about linebacker. I still don't feel good about corner at all. I don't feel great about receiver. So there's still kind of 3 spots there, but we didn't trade up. So there's still a lot of picks left. Let's hope we address some of those needs, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I just and I want to say this too. We said this on our patrons only podcast that me and Andrew did for Breaking News, but I want to say it again. Thank you to the Saints for making this draft day incredibly fun. Until the Aaron Rodgers news broke that he wants to not be a Packer anymore. Until that news broke about like 2:30, 3 o'clock, like the Saints were dominating draft Twitter because everybody was like, the Saints are one of the only team that's trying to get into the top 10 to move up, and they want a non-quarterback. And it dominated the afternoon, and it was great fun. The Saints were tweeting out the looking eyes. It was incredibly entertaining, Dave. I loved it. Then it turned to Mac Jones, and I panicked. But until then, this is the most fun we've had all offseason because the Saints didn't do any moves. I thought the Saints made our draft day super entertaining by just throwing crazy rumors out there to different reporters.
I mean, you think they're going to reveal who they were interested in? After the fact? Now that it's over.
Do you think there was any truth to the Mac Jones stuff, Andrew?
Mac Jones, I thought the rumors was Justin Fields.
Mac Jones.
I thought they were interested in Justin
Rossini
Fields.
said it was a defensive player or Mac Jones that they were trying to get up to.
Oh.
I mean, I'm sure it'll come out a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know.
But hey man, it's officially peanut butter Jameis time now, right? Like they're not like any quarterback they would get in 2nd or 3rd round. Like this is it's Jameis' show 100%.
I don't know. Right? If they wanted Mac Jones, let's think about this.
Aaron Rodgers though.
Oh,
okay, but now wait a minute. Now if Peyton and the Saints, if they wanted Mac Jones, the Patriots obviously they were the ones that ended up drafting him. The Patriots obviously are notorious for trading down. So you're telling me either the Patriots really, really wanted Mac Jones, or the Saints are full of shit. Or the whole Saints Mac Jones is bullshit because the Patriots would definitely trade down in a situation like that. So they either really wanted Mac Jones themselves, or there really was no interest by the Saints in Mac Jones, I would say.
I don't think there was. I think the Saints had a lot of interest in getting Surtain or Horn at corner. Probably Surtain.
Yeah, no, I see what Dave is getting at. He's basically saying if the Saints really were willing to move up into the top 10 to get Mac Jones, it should have been easy to get him at 15 with the Patriots. A team that's desperate to trade down and acquire.
Yeah.
Like if they really wanted him that bad in the top 10, they could have gotten him at 13, 14, whatever.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't buy that the Saints were all in on Mac Jones at all.
Yeah. I was scared, man. Mickey Loomis was leaving
scared.
the golf course.
I was scared.
You know?
I was real scared.
I was scared. So Thomas, fire up the music. We'll discuss. We're gonna have a Zoom call for patrons.
Now if you're a patron, I'm looking forward to the Zoom tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do a Zoom call tomorrow at 9, and we'll go from 9 to 10, and we'll be talking about what the Saints have done because they're gonna do a ton. They're gonna make 3 picks tomorrow, maybe more. They're probably gonna move up. I bet they can't help themselves. So if you're a patron, remember you'll get the email and the Zoom call.
Give us a like on Facebook.
Yeah.
Subscribe.
So everybody give Thomas a hand. He worked amazing, staying up all night and polling, helping me get the draft stuff together. Thomas, I did a pretty good job running the graphics, getting to them. You did an amazing job getting the people on the air. Thomas, as always, is superb. So for Dave, for Andrew, I'm Ralph. Remember, kids, don't shoot your dick off. And until Sunday, the bar is closed.
Who dat?
You need to shoot your dick off.